Good evening, everyone. This is Joe Henches with Beyond the Chart, and this is the stock market analysis for Wednesday, June 4th, 2014. This is our BRIC countries discussion. We're going to look at the United States market briefly, then we're going to look at Brazil, Russia, India, China. We're going to look at 5 stocks tonight. We're going to look at 2 Indian stocks, Infosys, Tata, and then we're going to look at 3 Chinese stocks. And that should cover it for this evening. Okay, let's start off with the Dow, which is up 15 points today. And again, we're stalling out. A little bit of this just doji bars in here, very tight. We talked about compression last night. There's no change. Why? It's because the market's sitting there hanging on what is the European Union going to do, the European Central Bank, and what kind of decision are they going to make. Everybody's anticipating they're going to cut interest rates. Because the real cost of interest rates have been going up because inflation has been going down and their interest rates have been steady. So if your interest rates are constant and your inflation is going down, your real interest rates are going up, and that is hurting companies and hurting individuals. So that's what's causing the slowdown and causing or at least part of the cause of it across Europe. All right, the Dow, let's take a look at the S&P 500. I know I had it in here. It's probably right in front of me. There it is. Okay, this is hugging right across the top line in here. The S&P was up with 3.64 points today. So a little bit of a move. Let me blow that up some. Yeah, you can see it was comparable to maybe last Friday. Biggest move, one-day move of the week. You know, with these doji bars in here, and then this move today. So it's not a whole lot more to make of it, honestly. I mean, we're not getting any strong divergence. I mean, who knows? Maybe we're getting ready to break out to the upside. I mean, and when we see it, we'll believe it. Right now, I'm not seeing it. So that's what we're playing. That NASDAQ, again, we're in here. It's still in this congestion, even though it had this up day today, 17 points. It's still in this congestion ball, okay? And we're right at the top of the Keltner channel in here. The gray dotted line, top of the Keltner channel. So we'll see whether or not we continue to push higher or whether we roll over. I think tomorrow is going to be an interesting day. All right, we got some interesting things going on here with the short-term trading index. It is getting really close to getting below this 0.90 threshold line. The blue line, the 10-day exponential moving average is at 0.929. The last time that 10-day was at 0.929 was back here on January 2nd. Okay, and that was coming off of being in that extreme reading. Okay, so we haven't gotten that extreme reading yet, but we're getting close. And the other thing to look at is the VIX, okay? There it is. The divergence is still held, and we've gotten this little bounce. And, I talked yesterday about the fact that on when the blue is greater than the red, you need taking out the high. Well, we did that today, took out the Monday's high today. So I'm kind of cautiously watching here. This thing looks like it's trying to push to the high side. We'll see if we get any follow through tomorrow. We're going to know tomorrow morning, I think, before the market even opens in the pre-market. After we get the unemployment claims at 7:30 Central Time, and of course the European Union. I don't know what time the meeting is. I didn't check to see what time the actual announcement might have happened, but they're 6-7 hours ahead of me, ahead of Dallas time. So it's even if it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon, it's going to be 7 o'clock in the morning here. So it's going to be happening before the market opens. All right. Okay, now let's take a look at Brazil and several of these countries. Brazil had a little bit of a sell-off a couple days. So where was last Wednesday? I think the 28th. Last Wednesday was the 28th, yes. Okay, so May 28th was last Wednesday. So since last Wednesday, we had this Thursday, Friday, Monday, big down day, a little bit of a bounce back. We've kind of come right off this 55-day exponential moving average, and it's breaking above the 233 day. Okay, so it's pulled back, but it's trying to get some support in here, and we'll see whether or not it now makes another run at this upper trend line, which is the trend line in here. So and Brazil had a heck of a move, you know, from March to May. I mean, a 2-month, heck of a nice move. You're going to get a pullback, okay? You're going to get some type of retracement, and now we could be trying to head for the previous high. So that is Brazil. Russia is interesting. Where is my 6? There we go. Okay, Russia. Let me blow this out. I'll bring it back down. Okay, I'll tell you what this dark blue bar here is in a moment. This has come a lot further than I ever thought it was. Based on this big down move, I thought we were, you know, going to be getting a zigzag up and then turning around and collapsing back down. But I'm kind of wondering whether we're running out of, you know, petering out in here. We're getting some divergence at the RSI. We're getting divergence here on DI+. So, you know, this is pushed a new high, but it's not being confirmed by the indicators, okay? So also, the other thing, the reason I've got this dark blue bar, let me show you what that's all about. I started glancing at the chart and I noticed that, well, you know, the moves on the rally moves tend to be about, what is that, 1250 to 15, about 300 points. So what I did was I drew a bar in here, a line in here, and I said, well, let me just copy that line. And wow, okay, it's about 300 points. It's about 300 points. And now some of these were smaller, the rallies, and this was a 250 point rally, okay? But this is about 300 points. So these swings, so my expectation, the reason why I'm doing this, I'm looking at previous swings like this swing here, you know, kind of a zigzag, pretty straight line up, kind of a straight line up. They're about 300 points. Well, that's exactly where we're at. We're at about 300 points. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Russia starting to run out of steam and roll over to the downside, and the fact that we're getting some divergence. Okay, India. Where is India? There we go. Nifty 50. All right, this is in, you know, a nice bullish mode. Okay, this has really been pushing to the upside, and of course we've talked about this. And so when I try to apply some Elliott wave, I think we're in a third wave, and I think we just completed a third of a third wave. And we just did a little corrective fourth. So we're almost in the point of completing a fifth wave, a fifth of the third. Okay, so there's always 5 waves to the upside and then 3 waves down. So you always have 5, 3. And when I say 5 waves up, it's counting 1, 2, 3. And in between, like, so this third wave is made up of 1, 2. It's, you know, this was a flat, what we call flat. Came back up like here and back down here, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so there's your 5 waves. 3 up moves and 2 retracements make a 5-wave impulse sequence. Okay, so then we got this little zigzag correction in here for wave 4, and I think we're in wave 5 up. So that's the way the Nifty 50 looks to me. Looks very bullish, which means so after you complete and get a 5th wave up, that'll be the end of 3. Well, then you're going to have a corrective 4. Okay, so that's, and I expect it's going to be a zigzag because this one was a flat. Okay, this 2 in here was a flat, A, B, and then this C moved down. Okay, so that's the reading I've got on it. The next one is China, Shanghai, China. There we go. Now, the interesting thing about Shanghai, I thought we had a big reversal bar in here. We got a little bit of a bounce, and here we are pulling right on back down. So this is just looking awful weak. It's like China just can't, and maybe the whole slowdown thing is really going to have much more of an impact than anyone even knows. I mean, it's hard to see. When you look at the overall trend of what's been going on with China, after this huge ballistic move into 2007, and then this big down here in 7 into 8 that we experienced, that the whole world experienced, this could be just the first one down, the wave back, you know, wave B, and this could be a dragging out C of which we've got a symmetrical triangle working that should break then to the downside and take out this low, and maybe it does it very slightly. But that's what I'm starting to think. Just because of the way this whole thing is trending down, and we're now got this symmetrical triangle, I'm thinking it's going to be a continuation type symmetrical triangle rather than a reversal symmetrical triangle. Okay, so that's the way. So we'll have to keep an eye on that with China. See what's happening here in terms of the action. We've got this close down below in here. So see if we get a break. You know, we've tried some penetrations, but we haven't really gotten a close below this trend line. That's what I think will set it off. Okay, we're going to take a look at Infosys, which is Infosys is kind of a consulting technology company. They got their start over here in the United States in the late 90s doing Y2K repair to code. A lot of companies, and they've broadened out into the consulting arena and have done very, very well for themselves. Let's see what how the stock is looking. It looks like we've had 5 waves up from last June, and so therefore we're correcting back down in here. I would expect that maybe that correction, you have to watch for the turnaround now. Let's see how far we've come. We've retraced a little over 50%. So at this point, anything, it could at any point start to reverse and head to the upside. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to tell when you get into some of this corrective mode down like this, where it gets very choppy, overlapping waves. I tell you, corrective waves, even when you're trying to deal with it with Elliott wave, it's very hard to depict sometimes and understand. And a lot of times you're better off not trying to play corrective waves and look for the solid break of a trend line, some type of formation of some kind in here. So this needs to prove itself out, but it looks like maybe this could be getting ready to turn. And we're getting a little bit of bullish divergence coming in, although we're not seeing it on the DI minus. So mixed signals. Okay, the next one is Tata Motors. And Tata, didn't they buy Rolls-Royce, I think, a while ago? So let me see. I remember thinking to myself that there was 5 waves in here, and we may have had like an abbreviated 5th wave in here somehow, though it's not totally clear to me, and a move up from here, and like a corrective move, and then we're getting 5 waves of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And so now I think we're correcting in here, but it's correcting back to the level of the 4th wave. We're getting support at the 55-day moving average. The 21's above the 55, above the 233. Given that the Indian market is so strong and pushing higher right now, the fact that this is corrected here, my next move is to look for a setup to the upside is what I'd be looking for. Get a close above the 10, start to try to push again to the upside. Let's look at this from a bigger picture. Had a big move to the upside, pulled back, and then we've been kind of chopping sideways in here, but moving up. The wave structure, honestly, is not that clear to me. The only thing clear on a shorter term basis is this 5 waves in here and this pullback. So that's the way Tata looks. Let's take a look at Jinko Solar Holding Company. Okay, this again looks like it's putting in a broad, complex head and shoulders top. I actually thought this might have been the right shoulder. I now think this may be. It's dragging out, but it sure looks like it's trying to top out. And now we're getting this close today, this down move. The key is that we break this trend line, and then the move's going to be down to this level here. Okay, that's Jinko Solar. YOKU is the other. These were the 3 most active of the Chinese stocks I follow today. The ones that are the higher price, above 20, although this one is barely, it's right around 20. We had this big bar in here I thought might be bullish. It still hasn't taken out the bottom, so it hasn't canceled it. And got another type of reversal bar in here engulfing today, which I think is what generated the volume. But divergence, little weak on the divergence to me. So I don't know. I mean, that's a pretty pretty solid downtrend, hard downtrend, and you could be getting support. I mean, look at all this just choppiness in here. You can't. There's no setup to. You need a setup like in here to sell, and you need something solid to be able to buy. So it's almost like you can't do anything with YOKU, in my opinion. Melco Crown Entertainment, our casino over there from Macau. This been chopping sideways like this, and boy, I tell you, I was tempted to sell this again, but there's something that's just cautioning me, and we had this move back up where it's rally mode today, coming off of kind of a deep sell-off, or it wasn't deep, but it started to sell off this morning. We opened all the way down here. I guess I'm a little bit cautious because I think that the retracement on this stock has come probably as far as it's going to go. But I'm not strong enough bullish to be able to step in and say, hey, let's go ahead and buy calls. Okay, it still looks a little too negative, but not even negative enough for me to buy puts on. So honestly, next. I mean, there's enough stocks out there, enough tradable positions to find something that you feel good about. I always find, I'll let you guys go here. I always find that if I'm sitting here and I'm going back and forth on a trade and I'm trying to talk myself into it and I'm not really sure, I'm better off just saying, okay, just wash my hands of it, stop looking at it, go to something else, because there's plenty of other things to look at, something you get a lot more comfortable about. I do not have to trade Melco Crown Entertainment. Okay, that's it for tonight. This has been Joe for Beyond the Chart. Have a great day. We're going to get some great, I'm sure, market moving news tomorrow and on Friday morning. So we'll talk to you again tomorrow night. Have a great Thursday, everyone.